Hola YouTube, it is I again, and back with another Leafs report. Last night's game did not go so well in Carolina against the Hurricanes. It was actually very similar to the game before against Columbus, in that the Leafs kind of shit the bed in the first period, got down, but then in the Columbus game they were able to come back and win it, but in Carolina, not so much. Only this Carolina game was even more magnified. The first period was just abysmal for the Leafs. They had no legs. They were getting run around their own end for most of the period. The shots were like 29-11 after the first period. It was just brutal. And they got down 2-0 just like they did against Columbus. Now, similar to the Columbus game again, they slowed things down in the second period, got back into it, and I don't think Carolina didn't have a shot in the second period until like 2 minutes left in the period. So like the shots were 10-0 up to that point. So the Leafs totally turned the tables, and cut the lead. It was 2-1 going into the third. And then in the third, things opened back up again a bit. Carolina kind of took over again a little bit. It was a lot more of an even period though. But Carolina, they traded goals, and then which made it 3-2. But then in the end, Carolina popped a couple of empty netters to make the final score 5-2. But either way, the Leafs didn't deserve to win that game in the least. Freddie once again held them in it. The two goals were scored by two of the guys who have been scoring for them, Tavares and Kapanen, so that was nice. But yeah, I don't know, they just didn't seem to show. It's been their problem is the first periods. They just don't seem to show up in the first period, and they end up getting run around a lot and getting into one of those early deficit situations, which is so hard. You can't, they're good at coming back, but you can't do it every night. Comebacks are pretty hard to accomplish for any team, let alone a good one like Toronto, and you can't be doing that every night. And last night they paid for it. So a funny thing I've noticed with the Leafs is that these first periods they get run around, they get a deficit. Second period they come out, they're much better, but they slow the game down. It's like they drag the pace of the game down, which is so odd because the Leafs are one of the more skilled, faster teams in the league. So why are they slowing things down? Like, I know it's defense, whatever, defense, but I just don't know why they're not using their strengths, to win games. Why they're kind of slowing things down. It doesn't kind of compute with me. So almost just let them go. let them skate, let them go, let them pour everything at the net that they can, and see what happens. Because this trend of them getting the doors blown off them to start a game and then dragging the pace down to try and climb back into it, you don't feel good about those games. Even when they won that Columbus game, they maybe should not have won that game. That was kind of a kind of lucky win they rode on the back of their goalie, and maybe should not have won. And then Carolina last night, they shouldn't have won at all, even if they'd managed to come back. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like that road trip against all those Western Canada or Western U.S. teams was like, they were unbelievable. They just skated. They pushed the pace. Like, it was like totally different team to what we've seen over the last two games. And I don't know how it can flip-flop back and forth so regularly. Like, I don't know why there's not more consistency to their game, but I mean, they had some struggles early in the season, but they've kind of come in and come out of it. So hopefully these couple of games are just a blip on the radar. Hopefully when they're in Columbus on Friday night, they can get back at it and get back in the win column and continue to sort things out. Until then, though, have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you then.